Hi, I'm so grateful that you are here. Welcome again to AnnFam, a place to be to educate our next generation wholeheartedly and consciously at home and on the road. So, today I'm going to talk about 10 successful famous people who have been homeschooling themselves. So why you crazy and proud homeschool graduate out there might count people like the founder of the Human Genome Project and the youngest MIT professors ever among your ranks. You don't have any accomplishment to speak of, right? Oh, be quiet. Einstein doesn't count because he only homeschooled for a year, and we're talking about celebrity. It's not like Jennifer loves Hewitt was homeschooled? Right. Check it out. Accurately, she has been homeschooling, and that is right. Let's go through the top 10 successful and famous homeschooling people. The 10th in the top is Jennifer Love Hewitt. We all love her. Oh, at least I love her. And yes, at least until she started at Lincoln High School after moving into Los Angeles with her mother. The start of I Know What You Did Last Summer was homeschool. Despite its obvious setbacks, she managed to be the hot girl at every party and lasted longer against a serial killer than even Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Number 9 is Dr. Condoleeza Wright. And being the first Black National Security Advisor is only the accomplishment Wright is most known for. She also been voted as most powerful woman in the world twice, as were the first Black female and youngest provost of Stanford University during her tenure. And she was homeschooled. Yes, until she was, lastly because she lived in Birmingham, Alabama in the 1960s. Number 8 is C.S. Lewis. And before he wrote Baby First Lord of the Rings and become an English professor at Oxford University and a member of the Inklings, C.S. Lewis was homeschooler, while perhaps living up to the stereotypes of the religious fundamental homeschooler, particularly in his writing. Lewis has nevertheless fully established his place in history as a beloved author of children's literature. And anyone who doubts the social skill of homeschoolers should hear this story. Right. So while fighting at the Battle of the Somme of the World War, it's also known as one of the bloodiest military operations in the history. Lewis made a pact with another cadet that if either of them died, the other would take care of their family. And when his friends were killed in action, Lewis kept his promise, caring for his friend's mother for the next 30 years. And, oh wait, they slept together. What? But not really the bond we were trying, and he's still calling her mother. Crap. Yeah. Moving on. Okay. Number 7, Erwin Schrodinger. And those most famous for coming up with disturbing analogies about cats, Schrodinger also contribute Schrodinger equation, which describes how the quantum state of physical system change with time, obviously. He also won the Nobel Prize for Physics and was homeschooled until the age of 10. It might be worth noting that although he's most famous for the Schrodinger cat experiment in which cats is both alive and dead at the same time, he actually didn't think much of quantum mechanics. And that analogy was an explanation of why he thought the theory didn't make any sense. Okay, number 6, we had Tim Tebow. Known for his unorthodox lifestyle and frequent player, Tim Tables were quickly thrown both praise and controversies for his roles at quarterback for Denver Broncos and New York Jets. But let's go back in 2007 when Tim Tebow became the first homeschool athlete to win the Conrad Heisman Award. Yes, he was happy to break the stereotype, saying a lot of time people have this stereotype of homeschooler as not very athletic, and it's like go win a spelling bee or something like that. It is an honor for me to be the first one to do that. And leading up to his word, Tebow was also supposed to be so-called Tebow Bill, which would see in Alabama following several other states by allowing homeschool athletes to play for their local high school teams. Number 5, we have Frank Lloyd Wright. And without a doubt, the most influential architect in American history, Frank Lloyd Wright was in fact homeschooled. His model began by bringing home so-called throwback gifts and block designed to help children learn on their own. And though Wright eventually attended high school later on, it is not known whether he graduated, and he dropped out of University of Wisconsin after a single year. Number 4, we have Margaret Atwood. She's a novelist. Come on, you totally heard of her, right? She written tons of poetry, and she may be Canadian, but she totally won the Arthur C. Clarke Award. Atwood was homeschooled until 6th grade, and now she's a big deal. In 2009, she wrote a book called The Year of the Flood, and that's epic natures, for which she created her own environmental religions, which she now follows herself. At number 3, we have Whoopi Goldberg. So Whoopi occupies a strange place in geek cultures because no matter what kind of stuff you into, she probably in some of it. And like sci-fi, she's in Star Trek, Disney movie, she was a hyena in The Lion King, movies that should have won an Academy Award but didn't, The Color Purple, she in it. Movie that shouldn't have won an Academy Award but did, Ghost. So no offense to Swains, but come on. Alright, so obscure pop culture trivia. She's one of a very select group of entertainers to win an Oscar, a Grammy, an Emmy, and a Tony. And she has a Hollywood star on the Wall of Fame. And she also won 4 People's Choice Awards and a British Academy of Film Award. But it's not like that really matter, right? And yes, she was homeschooled. As number 2, we have Thomas Alva Edison. And we're not going to waste your time by explaining who is Thomas Alva Edison is. But we will blow your mind with this little story, right? Edison actually began his schooling normally attending a public school when the family workload permitted, but he was eventually driven out the age of 12 by being addicted. In fact, his teacher told his mother that young Thomas was not teachable. Who is not teachable? Come on! And that his mother took him home and began teaching him herself. Edison later stated, "My mother was making of me. She was true for sure of me, and I felt I had something to live for, someone I must not disappoint." Oh, that's nice. So we're sure he didn't, because he invented everything. As number 1, we have Julian Assange. I'm going to pose a question here. Who's undermined major government using little understood technology, speaking in a funny accent, and go on the run? So if you answer James Bond villains, you're right. But if you add homeschooling to that list, well, you might still get James Bond's villains. I know for sure when Skyfall comes out. Either way, you could also answer Julian Assange, the Assange's WikiLeaks founder, who lives in his own personal village layer before going onto the run to hide from all the governments, and who was homeschooled for several years while traveling with his parents touring Piaget's company, which makes him a born villain, a homeschooler. Thank you so much for watching, and if these celebrities are the people you love and you also love about homeschooling, then please head over to annholland.com to explore more about homeschooling in multiple dimensions. And leave me a comment here, as I love to hear from you. Okay? And if you like the video, please share it with all of your friends and families. I would appreciate it so much. And it would mean the world to me if you subscribe to my channel. Subscribe. Keep on learning with your child and educating them with all of your heart, because you know for sure your child love learning as much as you love them. Stay awesome, and I see you next time.